We have a nurse in the house. I'm honored to invite a Little Star Foundation alumni, childhood cancer survivor, all around awesome person who I've known since a child. Sangeetha is joining us on Little Star Light with her wisdom, inspiring story, and caring ways. There's a famous saying, when you have your health, you have everything. When you do not have your health, nothing else matters at all. In this episode, we'll explore what is your healthy. It is different for everyone. The reason Little Star Foundation provides long-term care is children with cancer can have lifelong health problems. Let's get right to our special guest. Here she is, Special Sangeetha. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I did ask Karen before this episode, I asked her, is this going to be really hard for you? Because you two grew up in a way I don't understand. You two grew up in a completely different way, and things can be triggering when you hear about childhood cancer. And so I asked Karen, I said, how do you feel about that? And she was excited to take part in this and listen to your story because, you've had such a journey. And so she was really excited to take part in that, which I was excited for as well. You are a clinical research nurse in Charlotte. So it was quite a journey getting there. Can you start what it was like for you as a child? Because you shared a little bit before with me about how your treatments were, you remember them. A lot of kids, sometimes they're young and they don't remember as much, but you have some pretty detailed memories about that. And then in answering that, is that the reason you wanted to go into nursing? Double question.
Yeah. So I was initially diagnosed when I was 3, and I don't remember that part. And I went into remission when I was in kindergarten. I vaguely remember going into remission. I remember that my hair was just starting to grow back, and I insisted on wearing dresses because I was afraid that everyone would think I was a boy. And then I think I was in 2nd grade when I relapsed. And I remember my relapse really well because that was when I had to get a transplant. So I think if I hadn't relapsed, then I wouldn't remember any of it at all. I just remember, and this is funny because you're a professional tennis player. My dad came to the United States on a tennis scholarship.
That's so cool.
He is really, really big into tennis.
Awesome.
In fact, my grandfather wanted my dad to become a professional tennis player.
Wow. How about that? It's too bad Adriana's normally on and she has sometimes we have caregiving things that are different schedules, and she came to the U.S. on a scholarship.
So when I was a little kid, I wanted to play tennis, and I was very athletic. And I would play I would do ballet. I would play sports. I played soccer. I did all these things. And then, you expect your life to go back to normal after you're done with all your treatment. It's not the way it was before. It's completely different. But when you're that young, no one can really prepare you for it. No, you're not going to be able to run and keep up with the kids like you used to. You're not going to have the stamina that you had before. And even now, I can run people my age for about maybe 10 seconds. But that's it.
So you can get that maybe first rack on a Thanksgiving sale. You can get to the first one. Then after that, you're not going to get to the second.
Thanksgiving sale is different. Thanksgiving sale, I can be scrappy. But when it comes to running a 5K, I can keep up with everybody for maybe the first minute or two, but then I'll start to fall behind.
Did you just stop sports and stop everything after? Did everyone, because I've known so many kids that doctors and nurses and parents are afraid of their child taking on sports again. And some of them can't because of their cancer diagnosis, even if they go in remission. So were you afraid to continue being athletic, or were you told not to be athletic?
I wasn't told not to be athletic. And I'll be honest, even when I was in between my chemo sessions, I would try to go outside and ride my bike. I was so determined to have my life go back to normal.
Some of the chemo medications, I won't go through naming some of them, which I can, but some of them really affect your motor skills. So bicycle riding, we didn't really put that in as an activity because kids could go whoop right over me, thinking that they rode a bike before. Were you okay?
I mean, as a 7-year-old, you don't know what these things are doing to your body. You're just like, I want to go ride my bike, so I'm going to go ride my bike. I remember riding uphill with some of the kids in my neighborhood and realizing, oh my God, I can't keep up. What's wrong with me? Mm-hmm. And I think that everyone kind of felt bad for me, and they all stopped because they knew that I was just coming back from being sick. But I mean, I didn't want that pity. I wanted to, like I said, I wanted my life to go back to normal. I wanted that sense of normalcy so bad.
Karen, how about you? Did you lose sense of normalcy and had to recreate a new sense of normalcy?
Yes. So I was 11 when I was diagnosed. So I was in 5th grade, and I remember it was like the last months of 5th grade before we transitioned to 6th grade. And I got sick. I couldn't walk. I couldn't, I had fevers and I was in bed all day. So I had to miss a lot of school. And then when I finally got diagnosed, I was like in the hospital for like a whole week. And my hair started falling while I was in the hospital. So, I just, the rest of 5th grade, I had to be like homeschooled, and I eventually graduated. So they just sent my certificate. I couldn't even attend my graduation, but, I didn't feel it like that bad. I couldn't go out to play, because, my hair was falling and I didn't have the energy anymore. So we would play, I lived in some apartments, and the kids there, we would play hide and seek or soccer, or tag. And after that, I couldn't go out. I was just home all the time and in bed because medication can make you feel pretty bad. But then after my remission, my hair started growing back. I tried going back to I was in 8th grade, I think. 8th, 9th grade. And I tried going back to school. But since my hair was really short, and, kids at that age can be kind of harsh. So I went back to school for like 3 months, and then I got homeschooled because I felt uncomfortable and I was tired all the time too. So yeah, I pretty much all my middle school was homeschooled.
I know some of the kids that I've known over the course of decades, they had a hard time computing things as easily as they used to before. Like things came naturally and all of a sudden they didn't anymore. Yeah. And it was frustrating. They were like simple things, like you go to tie your shoe and it's like, why I know how to do this. You go to find something in a store and you just forget the sequence of events of how to do normal things they used to do.
The way it was explained to me is it has a lot to do with short-term memory. I'm not good with short-term memory. Like a lot of learning that we have is based on, a lot of testing that we do here is based on short-term memory.
How about just emotionally in handling things? You both have had a childhood where you were more active in one way, so whether it was school participation or sports and things, and then you had to step back a bit. Karen, let me ask you this first. Did you permanently change from that and then just get comfortable being more isolated or introverted? Did that happen at all by chance?
Well, I was always an introvert since I was born, I bet.
When they put up the sign for extrovert or introvert, you went, I want that one. I want that one.
Since I can remember, I've been an introvert. But, I've never been a sporty girl. Never. I don't like sports, and I don't play them, and I don't do them. So it's hard to keep even an exercise routine is hard for me. But that wasn't an issue when I was younger with the leukemia or the treatment. But yeah, you become sluggish. I mean, okay. Well, you're always tired because of the chemo and medication they give you. So, you're just, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to watch Scooby-Doo and sleep.
And that's understandable. So
Yeah.
did you stay that way?
Yes.
Okay. I was just curious because sometimes
Yeah.
you adapt for survival and it works and it's good for your body to rest. Your body knows you have to rest. But then after, when you're a little better, it's become a permanent way of life. Yeah,
No,
interesting.
it's true. But like for me, like when I said I went back to middle school and I was like 3 months in and I'm like, no, I can't do this because I was an introvert and spending time just at home by myself kind of made me even more of an introvert. So it was hard integrating back into school and into like being social with people. And when I went back to actually in high school, I started ninth grade in high school and I was like so nervous all the time. And teachers were my friends because I couldn't make friends.
Oh, that's so cute. God bless the teachers out there, right?
That's the year.
Oh, that's so cute.
I think that's the hardest was. It still is. I have 3 friends, and those 3 friends are from high school, and I won't let them go because it's hard for me to make friends.
My 2 best friends are from high school.
Yeah, see?
Middle school, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, Sangeetha, when this will be interesting, and you may or may not remember this, but whenever we do room assignments in the Little Star Foundation programs, we actually, I don't know if you probably don't know this, but we talk to parents, we talk to your doctors, we talk to your child life specialists, we talk to the nurses to find out. And there's the application's like really thick. It's, you probably, I don't know if your parents went through it with you, but it's a really thick application because we want to know everything we can to make a program.
Filled out a thick application.
Yeah, yes,
I know,
they did.
To let me go to this thing. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yes, they did. It wasn't just like, hey, guess what? Guess where you're going. And what was really interesting for us is in matching roommates, because if we found out that someone like you, Karen, was a little bit more shy, and Sangeetha, you were a little bit shy as well, but we knew you both had bubbly personalities, like the kindness and the goodness and there was just an effervescence about you both. And we hadn't even met you at that time, but we heard it from stories from the people that we were talking to. And so we'd always make sure that we put you in rooms that had other people that had different personalities too, just so everyone could get drawn out and have compliments to each other, because some people that are extroverts, sometimes they need someone who's a little bit different. There's really benefits to all kinds of personalities that people have. And so now the question I have for you, what kind of experience did you have where it was like, wait a minute, I don't fit in anymore? Because, when you get diagnosed, there's a whole lot that happens. You're still a child, but you're going through treatments and you're having to miss school and you're having to be adult. You're in a sense of decisions are being made and life becomes much, much more involved than what you thought it was, a little bit more fragile. And so things change in importance. So if kids, and the Karen and I, when we were talking, I go, will you explain this to me when we come on? I'm going to ask you and I'm going to ask Sangeetha, because one way I explained it was, all of you might be thinking about how lucky you are that you've just had that day. It doesn't have to be a holiday, just that day. You're just happy about that. And some other kids, and nothing against anyone's growth experience, because everyone has a purpose for their growth path and their evolution and how they evolve and their wisdom and consciousness and whatever it is. So everybody is exactly where they're supposed to be. But, someone might be complaining about their genes, that they didn't have a certain kind and so it could become trivial to someone that maybe is evolving a little bit differently. So Sangeetha, did you ever have an experience where you thought, I just don't fit in with my peer group anymore? Have you had that experience throughout life?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And how do you deal with it?
To be honest, I don't know. Like, I know when I was a kid, I would just make stuff up to pretend and go along with things. And that's what all little kids do.
So just to kind of fit in.
Yeah.
That had to be hard, though.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, people can tell that you're just making stuff up.
Yes. If they care to know that, if they care to know about you, sometimes it's It's different. I really feel that friendships are really important in life. So let's take that curve for that direction.
But it's true. We do like age faster when you go through like a leukemia experience, because I tend to be drawn more to older people, to people who are older than me than to younger ones. So yeah, like I feel comfortable with Andrea and Adriana, but like when sometimes if we're someone younger than you, I'd probably be like, I don't know what to do. I'm very shy and I'm very awkward. I'm awkward. Like I cannot keep up with this short, like the icebreakers and stuff like that. So I'm awkward, and like I said, my two best friends, they known me for so long, so they can keep up with my awkwardness.
See, this is mind-boggling to me because I don't see you as awkward.
And I still struggle about that too, because I'm 33, so I'm not young, but I'm not old. So it's hard like to even fit in with the people at church, because we have this youth group that we meet up on Thursdays, and I'm always the oldest there. So and there's like couples who are already married in their 20s, 25, 26, and I'm 33. I'm like where do I belong? Like where do I fit in? So sometimes I don't even go to my group anymore because I'm like, I feel so old.
See, I feel like this is like a slumber party, like a singles girl slumber party. It's like, it's a weekend night. We're gathering together, and it is a weekend night, and we're gathered together. It can be a maturity thing too. And it's just, and I want everyone to know, and what's interesting about this episode is, yes, Sangeetha's gone through childhood cancer twice. She hasn't even approached what her last year was like. We're going to go into that. But this is about finding your place and where you fit in a sense, and knowing that there is always a place for you. And I grew up, and so you don't have to have cancer to feel like you're an introvert or you didn't fit in. It's like everybody has those experiences where it's like, I think that's part of life is, am I fitting in? And would, some people want to fit in more than others. Growing up as a professional athlete, I didn't fit in with anyone. And that was at age 9, I saw that and I was like, what, why is, and, media would come to my junior high and high school. And I kept thinking, why is this such a big deal? Why am I liked more by people because of tennis? Like yesterday, I was the same person and you didn't say hello to me when you kind of were, because kids in school, as you said, can be tough. And now media has come around and, Sports Illustrated and People Magazine and all this media is happening. And now you want to carry my books and you think you're my friend. And so friendship to me it's a sacred bond. When you find a friend that, likes you for no other reason, just that you have something that you enjoy being with each other, and they, they take everything with. And so it's, I really don't think it should be a rite of passage that you have to go through bullying or you have to go through that kind of thing. I think I'm hopeful that kids growing up can go, wait a minute, why aren't we embracing ones that are having a hard time and loving on them, or, being their friend and take them along with kindness and goodwill, because we're all going to grow up one day, and how we treat others is going to be a reflection maybe about how we were as a kid. And that's, I don't know, I think that's really important. But so Sangeetha, where in your nursing career, was it different for you going through nursing school? Did you let anyone know that you had gone through cancer? Did you tell anyone?
I didn't. At first, I kind of wanted to keep it to myself. And it was weird because for me, nursing was a second degree. So I wasn't the same age as a lot of my peers. Like I was over the whole partying and drinking until I pass out thing. Like I was over that.
I don't even know how that ever happens with people. Like, why? Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
What is the point? I'm gonna lose. Not that those people like me anyway, but I just don't get it.
That. And that wasn't my prerogative anymore. And I was just there to get my degree and get out.
Okay, so what would you tell your former self? What would you tell you as a kid?
When I was a kid, I was really hard-headed, and I don't think I would have listened.
Karen, what about you?
I don't know what I would tell myself because the whole experience, yes, it was in a way hard because you lose your hair and stuff. But my parents, my brother, and the nurses there, they made it like fun, and treatment was making me feel like crap. But 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 they would, overcompensate. I would get hospitalized, and it was, I remember more like about the experience I would have with the nurses than what I was getting or getting treated for. But I had fun. I actually had fun.
That's that's an incredible
weird
quality to have, to find the good in something that's very difficult. And Sangeetha, you mentioned this about what happened to you last year. You were explaining about when we talked earlier that ignorance can be bliss in a way. And would you share a little bit about what happened last year for you?
It just kind of happened out of the blue. I ended up getting double vision in the periphery of my left eye. So I went to the eye doctor to check it out, and then they referred me to a neuro-ophthalmologist. They had me go and do MRI, and then they had me do a lumbar puncture, which was extremely painful.
That's hard. And you had to continue because you had brain tumors that they had to deal with, right?
They were trying to find out if it was cancerous or not at that point. And thank God it was not cancerous.
It's hard to imagine what a child with cancer goes through because for so long, it's like, oh, is it gone? Is it better? And in some instances, what age, like young adults that get cancer, their world is entirely different. They might have a job, they might have a career, they might have a relationship. There's all different things that can be a factor. And so when you get something again, like third time where you have to go through something, this was like benign tumors, but you're still having to go through that testing. Did you have a support system that helped? I mean, we when you're younger, you're with your family, and then wonderful foundations that come in and then make a difference on. And then, but as an adult, you're kind of in between.
I do have family nearby, and I did talk to them. And they did really help, and that really helped.
And what kind of things helped? What, like when people said things or did things, what kind of things helped?
Like, I guess through the brunt of it all, I had a cousin that lives nearby, and I went out with them a couple of times, just did normal stuff like I would have. And that really helped. Like just going out, like I had a friend that would come and visit me every now and then when I told her what was going on.
Do you ever shut down? This is a question for both of you. Now, when you're going through something, and I know this from you, Karen, because sometimes you don't share. Sometimes you do. You've got a lot better with sharing things that happen. So when things come up, do you keep it to yourself? Like for me, I'll go back to Andrea on this. So for me, I would set up a whole tier. I've had a mountain of things that I could go to as, okay, option A, option B, option C. What can I do here to help get through the situation? So do you have like an emergency plan in place? Do you have that? And are you each comfortable when things come up to get to your bliss place or Zen place or support place? Can you communicate that well?
I did not realize that I had so much negativity, I guess, from being sick that I had withheld within me that was affecting my day-to-day life that I hadn't really talked about or worked through. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I decided to talk to somebody about it.
Well done. I mean, congratulations to recognize that and do that and take action on that. That's impressive. I mean, it looks like when you came on screen, it looks like you have a little princess halo thing on you. But in doing that, you definitely have had someone watching over you to help on that, but you took the step for it. So congratulations. That's a big step to take.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going? Are you still
Yes.
incorporating that in? Okay.
Yes. I need it. I still need it. I don't know if I'm ever going to not need it because, I mean, it's a lot better than it was before.
It's interesting how each of us have different paths to get to whatever our enlightenment is or serenity is or tranquility, which is really important. What about Karen, for you? What do you seek when you struggle? Like, do you seek someone else? Do you know, how do you get to that next level of going, okay, I'm going to get through this. Oh, look, I got through it. You know, how does that sequence happen for you?
I just learned this past 2 years. I started seeing someone like a therapist because after what I went through with my brother, it was hard to talk to my mom or my dad about it because they were going through the same thing. So sharing how I felt with them, it was like opening a wound or like putting salt on the wound, like they say. So I seeked out help. And I was with my therapist for like probably 6-7 months. And it's funny because you feel okay, but when you start talking about things that you didn't even know that were there. You start talking about things that it's like, I didn't know I felt like this. Or I didn't know I was going through so much. So it was great because I felt lighter. And I was like, okay, I think I can get through this. Like, sometimes when there's so much pain and stress from work and it all like comes together and you don't know how to deal with it. And you just like feel like I'll be fine. Like as long as I keep it to myself, I'm going to be fine. And I'm that kind of person. I don't like to overwhelm people or burden people with my problems. So I would keep myself, like everything to myself, like, and so when I was having therapy, I was able to talk to, and sometimes it's also better because they're a stranger, like the therapist is not related to you.
Yeah.
So it's easier to talk about things.
It's their job, like in a sense. It's like, it's okay. You have permission to talk to them. Yeah.
Because they're not going to judge you or anything like that. But after I was with a therapist for 8 months, I think, now I'm able to open up with friends.
Awesome. That's so great.
Yeah. So I'm a little more open than before. Yeah. It helps.
Yeah. I think there was a stigma a long time ago that if someone went to see a therapist, you were weak or you had a problem or there's something wrong with you. Yeah. And there's nothing there. There's none of those things. If you're brave, if you take that step to go and see someone and work through it. And I mean, so many of the kids with cancer that I've known, children with cancer, they try to become adults, like parents for their parents, because they see them hurting, they see them struggling, so they don't want to burden them anymore. And so they have to feel like, you're all 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 11, the ages that you're at, you're supposed to be a kid. That's your golden childhood years, and you're having to be strong for someone else. And you miss a lot of fun experiences with your friends, but you're also adapting to instantaneously become something that is a really tough thing to be. And so I really commend both of you for taking that step and doing that. And part of what we're trying to do with Little Starlight is provide an avenue where people might recognize something that's in them that can be helpful and inspiring and share the stories. I think you said this, Karen, a long time ago in one of our episodes. You said, I like to see how people, not what they're saying, what they're doing. And, it is true when you're a kid. And I remember this as a kid, I would watch what people did. Now what they said, it's what they did. And so much of what is in everybody, there's so much extraordinary. And sometimes it doesn't get unwrapped. And that's what we hope to unwrap for people, is to unwrap their extraordinary. I mean, to see you both, to know both of you since you're little girls, and to see how you've grown up as these brave, strong, amazing, capable, kind, beautiful, internally and externally women who want to do good in the world, and you're kind to everyone you meet. And you also want to have friendships and love and family and things that you grew up seeing within your own family. And yet some of those haven't come for you, and you're no less kind. You're still kind, you're still giving, you're still wonderful. But, every day I say prayers. I don't go through every name of the children because I wouldn't get through it in a day. I would never get through that. There's just, like, at this point, there's so many millions. And it's true too, for if anyone's watching this that's a donor, and they wouldn't know that they've helped in so many ways, because there's some things you can give emotionally, there's some things you can give financially, there's some things you can give therapeutically. There's so many different ways that we can help in what we do at Little Star Foundation. But what words of wisdom would you give to yourself that you're proud of, in the sense, and I'll do mine first while you think. And I wasn't going to ask myself this, but I'll give you a moment to think about what you're going to say. There was this one 14-year-old girl who had a brain tumor, and she came to sessions and had fun and a great time. And we did all the activities together. And then she went back home, and one day she called me up, and I was with another session program that was going on, and she was 14 years old. And she said to me, we asked each other what we were doing that day, and I told her what I was doing with the kids. And then she said to me, when I asked her what she was doing, she said, I'm picking out my music and my makeup and my clothes. And it wasn't for a party. And when we think about it, every single person picks out what they're going to wear in a day, their clothes. That's a thing that's very normal. The makeup and the music might be a little different. Not everyone does that every time, but she was doing this for her funeral service. And instead of being angry and bitter and just bawling, she said to me, Andrea, I don't have much time left, and I don't have any money to give you, but I'm going to find a way to help you. And she said, you have to keep doing what you're doing because it makes a difference to us kids. This is a 14-year-old girl who is doing this right now and isn't getting her next birthday. And she's caring about me. And then she said to me, I'm going to find a way to help you. And in lieu of flowers at her funeral service, she made sure that they came to the foundation. And I think about her, and I think about so many of the experiences I've been blessed in, whatever I've been able to give to children with cancer and their families and the programs. It's so extraordinary to see. And I don't think you both even realize every day that you shine your light, whether you feel good or not, whether you're just sitting watching Scooby-Doo and in your bed, whether you're, even without knowing it, you've done so many things to make people better, to have people try harder and give more. And that's, there's no amount of money in the world that can do something that comes truly from the heart, and that's a gift that you give each day, that you share your story, whether it's with a therapist, whether it's on the podcast, whether it's with someone else, because someone out there, it might be one person is listening, it might be more, but that one person might say, you know what, I'm going to get out of bed today. I didn't have childhood cancer. I've had a tough go, but I listened to these two young women, and they're finding a way to smile and have a slumber party for me to have a chance to feel better. That's what they're doing. I don't know. I think that there's something that God says, let me help. If you show up, I'm going to help. And I feel like that's what you both have done your whole entire life. And so I thank you for that. I can't be more proud. I could barely, sometimes when I speak about like, kids that have come through like alumni, it's hard. Like I can interview famous people or talk to famous people. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, this is the alumni. I've known them since they're little kids. And to see you now and be so proud. And I know your journeys have been tough. Your heart breaks for certain things that your heart's breaking on. I really feel like you're both still just starting. You've done so much already, but you're just starting, and that's a gift. Every moment you share, it's a gift, but also every moment that you say, you know what, here's another day. I'm going to see what I can do with it. That's a gift. So, that was just kind of a personal Hallmark card from Andrea. Since we're at a slumber party, we just kind of just went, let's go. But it's true. I don't really know how to put it in words because it's just, I've always been in awe when I look at what you all have gone through as children. And then you grow up and you're adults and it's like, wow, look at them. If I could shine with a little bit of them, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. And so those are my words of wisdom, that whatever someone's doing out there, even if you haven't seen the sunshine come in, if you haven't found your shiny people, if you haven't seen the love that, echoes in your heart or the light that bursts through, to bring you joy, that keep going because it's making a difference somewhere and you'll see the results soon too. So those are a lot of words of wisdom, but I mean, I don't know if they're really wisdom. They're a lot of words.
They are.
So anyway, okay. So Karen, what do you have? Now that you had all that time to think about it, you should have something.
That's true. So I would tell anyone, and even myself every day, I thank God every day. Every day is a blessing. It's a new day, a new beginning. And thankful and live every day like it's your last, because you never know. So young or old, sometimes we feel you're young and we're like, I still have like till 70, 80, but that day might not come. So yeah, live every day like it's your last, and I'm just grateful for every day.
Beautiful Sangeetha.
That's a tough one to follow. All of these are tough to follow. I guess mine would be trust whatever God or the universe has planned for you, or whatever comes forward, because it may not be what you expect. Things don't always go the way you expect them to go. There's usually a reason. Maybe you won't see it right away, but just kind of hang in there and enjoy the ride while you're there.
That's great. It's kind of like the doors keep opening. There's right. Maybe not exactly like that. Yours was much more. Yours was much more eloquent. It was much more. And the other thing I do want to say, both of you were very sporty in our. Karen, you say you didn't really. When we did sports, you were good.
I tried.
And the rope course.
I sucked at tennis, but I tried.
Yes, the rope course, you were good. Tennis, you were good. Sangeetha, same way. You were, you had some moves going on there. I
played tennis in high school.
Yeah. So
I was really bad at it, but I played.
That's okay. Tennis is a sport for life, which I've been very lucky to have it for my whole life. And it's brought me so many different ways of looking at the world that I could have never imagined. And I played tennis today, in fact, and had so much fun. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's just like I just was learning the other day, and it's really cool. And that's what, each of us have had such a different journey, but it's fun to try new things. Sangeetha, what is on your bucket list?
To travel more.
Okay. Good one. Karen?
Well, I have two. Yes, one is travel more, so I'm doing that for my birthdays. And my second one is I want to go back to school.
Wow! What do you want to study?
I actually, after so many years of trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I want to do business administration with a focus on HR.
Oh my gosh, that's you'd be so awesome. You would be excellent. You would be an excellent human resource person with you have to have business administration, but companies need that. It's tough out there. It's almost like being a social worker therapist for people that are working. They come to you with their problems. You help them. Oh, wow. That's a great choice. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I just thought about it this year. So
really?
We'll
oh my gosh.
Yeah. A couple months ago, actually. And the first person I told was my mom, and she was happy because my brother always would say, Karen, go back to school, finish a degree. And I'd be like, I'm too old for this, and he passed away. So I'm like, I have to fulfill something.
Yeah. No, that's really, you'd be excellent at it. You'd be excellent at it. Oh my gosh. Everybody has a special story. And it's like when you came in, and it was like we have a princess in the house. You have your little thing on your head. And I just felt like it's brave to share, I mean, this is not easy to go out and share things that have been personal and heartfelt and important. And you're doing it to kind of have a community of support too, but you're also doing it because maybe something you say will help someone else. And we never know the ones that we help, but if we, spread our love and spread our wings, and, maybe we'll reach more in doing that. So so until next time, love you both. Bye.